There is power in a story, and we all have a story. Our stories, if told, can inspire, encourage, and motivate. Hi, I am Rhonda, and welcome to the Book of Lives. Hi everyone, welcome to the Book of Lives. Today we're going to hear the story of a first-time blogger. Her name is Kathy. Kathy, hello.
Hi.
Kathy, thank you for taking time to chat with me.
Pleasure.
Okay, so we're all about stories, all right? And your story begins on the lovely island of Barbados. What was it like growing up on an island?
Okay, like you said, I am from the island of Barbados. So I had the typical, as you would say, island life. I grew up and spent most of my formative years in the parish of St. Michael. And for those who are not familiar with our island, that's where our capital city, Bridgetown, lies. So I would consider myself a city girl, true and true, even though I now live in the rural part of the island. I grew up in a home with my mom, my dad, and my four brothers. So being the only girl in the pack, I did a lot of stuff that my brothers would have done. So I would play cricket with them. We would pitch marbles, something that we did as kids growing up. Something that I guess some other Caribbean islands might have done it as well. And we made and flew kites during the Easter break. And we spent lots and lots of time at the beach. My dad was a avid swimmer. He was also a former lifeguard. So going to the beach on Sunday afternoons was a family tradition. And he had this thing that all of us would learn to swim, but unfortunately, that was not for me because I never took to the water. So I would prefer to sit on the sand and make sand castles. And if I did go in, it would be no more than waist deep. Um, Two things that were instilled in us from the time we were children was the first thing was we had to go to Sunday school. That was a must. I mean, we didn't have a choice back then. It was what we did. And we were involved in service organizations. My father was a former soldier in the Barbados Regiment, which is now the Barbados Defense Force. And so he believed in discipline and following of rules. So for me, that was being in brownies and then Girl Guides. So that was basically my childhood in a nutshell.
Good, good. So you started a blog recently. Why a blog? What was the motivation?
Okay, well, I have been journaling for quite some time. So my blog is just an extension of my journaling life. And I think when COVID-19 came to our shores back in March, and it seemed as though in an instant we went from living normal lives to being in shutdown mode, and not only us here, but around the world. It was a little difficult for me to have because it seems as though you were forced to live in a world that you just didn't understand anymore. No longer could you leave your home and you cared to. You had to go at certain times in order to access essential services. So during that time, I did what I did best, which was write. So I started to blog as something for myself, just to encourage myself along. But as I started to do it, I realized that there were other persons out there who were going through similar circumstances, who were trying to navigate this new normal. And there was so much negativity. I mean, on the television, on the radio, in the newspaper, everywhere you turn, it was like doom and gloom. So I try to lift myself by writing something positive, and then I share it with others to encourage them along the way. So that's where it started. I found this site called Simple Site, which was easy to navigate, as the name suggests. So I hopped on board the blogging train, and I signed up, started a web page, and the rest is history.
How do you decide what to write?
Well, to be honest, I write from my heart. So it's just like my journal is basically my day-to-day life, what I go through, the ups, the downs, the highs, and the lows. So some of them are happy blogs where I talk about stuff that makes me laugh. Others are more serious, but it's the main focus behind it, and why what I how I decide what I'm going to write is like a hard thing. Is what whatever is laid on my heart at that particular time. So it's not that I sit and I decide, well, today I'm going to write about, you know, A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. I have to be something that I feel. So day-to-day occurrences, it could be something that I saw in an article. It could be a quote that just causes me to, you know, need to share and expound on that. So that is basically how I come up with my blogs.
So you said the blog talks about highs and lows. So tell me about the most difficult one you wrote.
My most difficult blog would definitely be the one I would have done for my birthday, because it was one that was very, very close to my heart. My birthday this year, I turned 44 in the middle of COVID. So in the middle of a pandemic, I was trying to celebrate a birthday, and I had like a drive-by, shout out sort of birthday party, you know, just to cheer myself and to have sort of normalcy. So as I was going through the day, I started to reflect on those persons. There were three persons who I grew up with and who I spent lots of time with and who are no longer here. And they all passed in their 30s. And that was my brother Michael, my older brother, my childhood buddy, playmate, Theodore, aka Ted, and my childhood best friend, Leandra. And she was the first person I ever got to have a sleepover at her house. And I mean, my parents were strict, so that was like awesome. So growing up, you know, as kids, you would never think that you would, you know, go through life and then in your 30s that, you know, it just stopped for them. So it caused me to reflect and to appreciate what I have, because life is so brief. I mean, it is so fleeting. You can be here today and gone in a moment. So it reminded me to, you know, to give persons their flowers while they're here, to that people you love them, to spend time, to, you know, do the things that you want to do and not put them off. And even with this blog, I mean, something I have been putting off for a long time. I would always say I don't have the time, but really and truly, it was a bit out of my comfort zone. But just reflecting and seeing that, you know, I am in my 40s now and they never made it over to this, you know, this decade that I am in now, it just really caused me to, you know, begin to, you know, I don't want to say live life, but, you know, to do more, to live up my purpose, what I was called to do, and not be afraid, even though doing this now is like, you know, a bit out of my comfort zone, to be able to push forward and to go past, you know, things that might have hindered me before.
Yes, you took the bold step to share a bit of who you are, you know, through the blog. That's great. That's great. So if people are looking for your blog, where do they go?
Okay, so they can find my blog at www.gilkes.com. So they can feel free to, like, you know, leave a comment, say hi. Feedback is always welcome. So just feel free to pass on through.
Thank you so much for stopping by, for saying hello, for sharing a little bit of your life and of your story with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And for those of you who are watching, thank you. And until next time, stay inspired. Bye.